The defense is crying foul. They're arguing they did not get a high-quality version of this drone video that the state had, and now they want the judge to declare a mistrial. David Ward got out of jail earlier this year after serving time for theft by contractor, but it doesn't seem like he learned his lesson. We found he's moved to a new city and may be up to his old tricks. The group spent about 45 minutes in front of police headquarters, and they're now continuing their march up State Street. It was an absolutely explosive day in the courtroom. The defense shocking everyone, including the prosecutor, by calling Kyle Rittenhouse to the stand in the middle of their case. This area of the park is marked with signs like the one behind me warning people not to swim because of the strong current which is created over here where the Pike River meets Lake Michigan. Still, we've seen people here swimming all day long. The most shocking part of this whole hearing actually came at the end after the mics had been cut and people were starting to file out. Jake Patterson turned to all of us in the gallery as he was being let out, and he said, "Bye, Jamie." Lynn's disappearance sparked one of the largest searches in county history. The challenge, though, her neighborhood is surrounded by acres of fields. Today's hearing was virtual. No one was actually inside the courtroom. It only lasted a few minutes, but the defense made it clear Kyle Rittenhouse is not going back to Wisconsin without a fight. If you're one of those people, you've still got your absentee ballot, here are what your options are. You can go vote in person. You can take that absentee ballot to one of the drop boxes, but you have to do that by 7:30. Earlier this week, the Milwaukee County District Attorney said in a statement that $1,000 cash bail was far too low, and they're looking into how that happened. But a closer look at this case shows Darrell Brooks skated the justice system on technicalities and oversights multiple times over the last several years. Darrell Brooks has more than a dozen convictions across 3 states in the last 2 decades.
There's a long history of flight, obstructing, bail jumping type behavior, Your Honor.
At the time of Sunday's attack, Brooks was out on bail in 2 Milwaukee County cases. The first from 2020. Brooks allegedly got in a fight with his nephew and shot at 2 people. He was in jail on a $7,500 cash bail and requested a speedy trial, meaning the case had to be heard within 90 days. But that didn't happen because the justice system is backed up, in part because of court closures coupled with a spike in crime during the pandemic.
So now we have this bottleneck situation where all these cases, these new cases, these older cases are trying to work its way through the system, and the judges and the prosecutors and law enforcement is doing their best to try and keep up with the volume.
To comply with the statute, bail was reduced to $500 and Brooks got out in February. On November 2nd, he allegedly tried to run the mother of his child over with a car. He then posted a $1,000 cash bail. Milwaukee County District Attorney John Chisholm says that bail was inappropriately low and an internal review is underway.
I don't think that this case, and while it appears like that at first blush, isn't a sign of the complete breakdown in the criminal justice system. I think this was an isolated incident that really happened as a culmination of a lot of different pressures on the criminal justice system right now, primarily because of COVID.
There is an active warrant for Brooks' arrest in Nevada after he failed to comply with sex offender registry requirements. Since that warrant was issued, Brooks has been arrested multiple times here in Wisconsin and in Georgia, but it's unclear if officials in either state had any idea he was wanted out west. The district attorney's office says they are still completing that internal review, but they expect the DA will sit down with us next week and answer some of these questions. None of the jurors wanted to speak after those verdicts were read, but we do have some insight into how they made this decision. That's because of the questions they asked. They did not ask many. It seems one of the most vital parts of this case and those deliberations was a 30-second drone video. The state got this drone video of the Joseph Rosenbaum shooting a week into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and shifted their strategy, hanging their case on these 30 seconds. Prosecutor Thomas Binger made it the focus of his closing arguments.
I'm going to replay it a few times so you can see quite clearly that the defendant sets the fire extinguisher on the ground with his left hand and then brings his left hand over to the gun and raises it and points.
But the defense argued the video isn't clear and called it a desperate last-minute attempt by the state.
Provocation, another thing. Think back on November 2nd when this case started. Did you hear one word out of Mr. Binger's mouth about provocation? You didn't, because it was never said. But when his case explodes in his face, now he comes out with provocation.
The jury took notice, asking to see the drone video and slow motion versions during deliberations. They spent 46 minutes alone in the courtroom, watching it on multiple screens over and over, talking about what they saw. It was the very last question jurors asked. After that, they went back into the jury room for more than a day of deliberations before reaching these 5 verdicts.
Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
Before the verdicts were read, the judge warned there should not be any emotional outbursts in the courtroom. Still, we saw Kyle Rittenhouse's knees buckle as he fell, his mother and 2 sisters sobbing in the gallery. We also saw a lot of tears from the fiance of Joseph Rosenbaum and the girlfriend of Anthony Huber. Thousands of people are getting this phone call. It's an automated message supposedly from the IRS. It gives you a number to call back saying you owe money and could be arrested. Well, we decided to call back.
This is Alex Marshall with a badge number of 55028.
This man, claiming to be an IRS agent, told me I owe $4,000 in unpaid taxes and threatened to have me arrested if I didn't pay up.
Simply, you need to go to your bank. Once you reach at your bank, simply you need to get this money in the cash.
After playing along for about 15 minutes, I told the scammer who I really am. I'm an investigative reporter. We're working on a story about the scam that you're running.
Not your concern. Mind your own business.
The man, who admitted his name isn't really Alex Marshall, didn't hang up. Instead, he told me more about what he does. He says he works in another country with about 30 others.
I'm not scamming a people who is living on a street. I'm scamming a people who can able to pay me $1,000. So we are not like you. We are a scammer, but we are a human. We are not like you. Because in your country, you people don't have a humility.
He also bragged about how successful this scam is.
In December 2017, I got 153,000. In January, I got 182,000. In February, I got 120,000.
We played our conversation with the scammer for Christopher Miller, who actually works for the IRS.
Wow, these people are very brazen.
And Miller says these con artists make a lot of money. Since the phone scam started in October of 2013, people across the country have been conned out of $62 million. In Wisconsin, people lost about $700,000.
Unfortunately, these scammers will prey on those people's intention to do the right thing and work on fear and intimidation.
Here are some tips to make sure you don't get scammed. If the IRS is actually trying to reach you, they will mail you a notice first. The IRS will never call out of the blue and threaten arrest, and will never ask you to pay over the phone or with a prepaid card or gift card.
And if you have any question as to whether or not the IRS is truly trying to get a hold of you, hang up and call us at a number you know and can independently trust to be the IRS.
Miller says because most scammers are outside the U.S., it can be hard to catch them. The scammer we talked to made it clear he doesn't think police will ever catch up with him.
Okay, I'm sitting over here in my country. I'm challenging your country, your government. If you have a dare, try and find me.
Police in India arrested several people last year for running this scam, but because it's so profitable, the IRS says when one group is shut down, another pops up. If you get one of these calls, you should report it to the IRS. We've got a link on our website, cbs58.com. We keep doing stories about the problems with unemployment, in part because people keep asking us for help. And it seems like some of them finally get answers when we take their cases to the Department of Workforce Development. Tens of thousands of people in Wisconsin are still waiting for unemployment benefits. Some filed back in April, some are facing evictions.
We're $900 plus behind in rent. We're behind on our utilities.
One woman is pregnant and unable to pay her bills.
It's hurtful, it's stressful.
Another woman tells CBS 58 Investigates she applied in April, was denied in July, appealed, and finally won that appeal in October. Now she's waiting to get paid.
It's been horrible. To me, I'm stressed. My anxiety is bad, and I'm facing an eviction myself.
The Department of Workforce Development says it's processed 92.7% of the unemployment claims filed between March 15th and October 31st. But that still leaves nearly 76,000 people waiting for claims to be processed. There are another 12,000 who were denied and are appealing the decision.
We can't buy cleaning supplies like we need to. We can't buy toilet paper like we need to. We're sitting here on the verge of being kicked out of our place in the middle of a pandemic.
CBS 58 Investigates has been able to get some people answers. After our story last month, 2 people got approved and paid. Redante Jones says he also finally got a call back.
A day or so after you guys ran your story, and he called me and he said that it had finally came across his desk.
But he still has not received any money. Jones says his claim was denied. He's now appealing the decision. The DWD has repeatedly denied our request for an interview, but I did send them the names of the people who asked us for help. I was told, quote, our constituent services team that looks into referred cases will be reviewing inquiries from the press to determine the status of claims, address any issues, and get the claims resolved. People tell me it's frustrating. Some cases only seem to get resolved when a reporter gets involved.
I'm on a string of prayer. That's all I have is prayer.
This afternoon, DWD did respond to some questions in an email. They say in addition to adding staff, they're working to better train staff. They also say there's several things they're, quote, looking to implement. Reporting in Milwaukee, Kristen Barbaresi, CBS 58 Investigates.